Hello, everybody.
I got a delay.
Adam here.
Hey, it's Brady.
You can see by my name. My name's right there. Welcome. We are here with Alter Quest. Hopefully, our audio's picking up. It looks like it is, but if you guys can't hear us, let us know. Brady's a little behind on his stream, so also let us know how the lighting is. If we need more lights, we're happy to turn another one on. But I think we're good here. So.
Yeah, it looks a little my computer, but it looks a little fuzzy. But we'll see.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into this. I don't think we need our names anymore, so let's clear this screen off so you guys can see better. So we have the Alter Quest base game. We have Ruins of Arkenspire. We have the Stretch Goals box, and it is huge. I don't know if you can see how big it is, but
Yeah, as a comparison, you can hold
big.
up
It's big.
the base game. It's bigger than the base game.
So set that aside here and do the base game first.
Good, sounds good. I say.
All right, cool. Everybody can hear us. All right. And then we'll also have first for this one, the wrapping was already coming off, so we just took care of that. I got the start on the back here. Your starter pile. It's pretty heavy. So this is the Alter Quest base game, and as you can see, the box is a little bigger than we actually thought it was going to be. It's pretty big, and it's pretty heavy.
Someone said you're only streaming in 480p, whatever that means.
480p. Am I? Oh, maybe it's automatic.
Somebody else said 720p streaming ?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some questions. Estimated delivery date. We know it's palletizing this week, so we'll have to see how.
Yeah. Well, there'll be an update with specifics. We don't want to give information. We usually want to do that officially, so we check our facts and make sure everything's right. But this is final copies. Everything else is printing as well. I think it's done printing, but we'll give update just to verify exactly where we are. I'm not really sure why it's in 480p, but I'll have to check that. Maybe it's the software I'm using. Oh, there's the box. So there's a lid for that. So you can go ahead and leave that there, I guess. All right, we have the rule book.
Can you still see it on this side? Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, the rule book here. And we will also do an overhead shot for some things, just so you can get a better look at things.
Do you want an overhead shot, or
I can see how it looks.
is that zoomed into the table?
Right there, you can kind of see. It's kind of shiny, but
Yeah, it's a lot of lighting going on here, but you can kind of see all the graphics in there. Really nice paper stock. But there's a PDF of this online as well, so you can check
and
it out
here
online.
is the Out of Luxon story guide.
It's not.
I see. Screen. I got it set up
see it
here.
small.
You guys see us here as well.
So here's the story guide. This is, I guess, not much to see right now because it's all text. You'll be reading this as you play through the story. The campaign
28
story.
pages is the rule book. Someone asked that.
A lot of text there.
Oh, geez, sorry. Brady knocked over the microphone.
It's bound to happen eventually.
All right. We'll probably come back to that view.
Everyone else says they see 720, so
It's probably just different connections and stuff. So we'll go into that more. Here's some
set these off to the side.
punch board. Got 4 sheets of punch board here. And let's see how they punch out. Oh yeah, this came out real easy. This game has quite a few different kinds of tokens. We have trap tokens, action tokens, ally and rival tokens, defense tokens, search tokens. Got a nice stair tile, classic stair tile. There's those.
So you can see these different token sizes.
Got supply tokens, threat tokens, quest tokens, and focus tokens.
Nice tokens.
Got some damage in progress, nice bloody splatters. And we put this extra sheet in here because we needed some extra tokens of a certain count, so we just gave everybody a little bit of extra of everything just to make sure you had enough tokens. So. All right. Any questions so far that I'm missing?
Should I stack on here or off to the side?
Just set them there is fine. You guys probably saw from the overhead view we had the neoprene mat out, but here is the board itself. It has a nice linen texture on the back.
Someone asked where they can find the rulebook. We have that posted, right? The final rulebook.
Yeah, it's on one of the updates.
I'll have to double check the update.
We'll see if Scotty put it on the website too.
Yeah.
And here is the board itself. Oh, grab that side there.
This mic is gonna fall down a lot.
Just don't hit it. So here's the Alter Quest board. I saw a video someone posted on BGG today. Somebody made a 3D version of this. It looks pretty awesome. Check it out if you get a chance. But yeah, there's the board.
You want to fold it back up, or?
Yeah, you can.
I should
All
just
right.
do the stream standing up.
Now I'm gonna get an overhead shot of the what the box looks like. Right here.
Yeah, I gotta show off the insert.
Oh, the light is bad though.
The actual dimensions of the board. Do you remember that offhand?
The board is 33 by 22, I believe. That's somewhere around there. This is what the inside of the box is going to look like. There's a card tray. The dice are over here. The card tray.
The guy that made the 3D boards here. Yeah, I made the 3D board.
Awesome. Good job with that.
Yeah, it looked great.
The nice thing about this setup is the card tray comes out itself, and it is deep enough to hold the dividers.
Yeah, that was one thing we wanted to make
sorry.
sure of. So it braces the stuff on top without crushing the dividers and the cards.
We'll crack that open here. I wanted to give you guys a shot of what it looked like overhead.
Is the main insert meant to be kept to play? If you mean the card insert, actually all the inserts, yeah, like they're.
Here's the top one, and you can see it has room for features, big old bulks here. Some heroes you can tell are the light blue color plastic. Bookshelf. Very nice little bookshelf.
Most important. Can't really see that far, can you?
Yeah, our table's too big.
Should I bring the heroes out?
You can, but you'd have to. Here. See if you can see the detail. Oh, it's upside down. Might be hard to see
Yeah.
with this lighting.
It looked good though. Really good. Look at that. The mace is perfectly straight. Some cool terrain pieces.
All right. That's the first tray. And then the tray underneath that has all the minions of all the different factions that are in the base game with all the doors. So you can fit all the doors in your tray.
So we have several questions about sleeves, and I forget if this was tested to hold all of these sleeved. I think there's enough space there from visibly looking right now. It looks
you can,
like.
you can grab. I have sleeves over there if you want to grab.
Well,
them.
it'd take a while to sleeve them all, but I
Well, I'm
think.
not gonna sleeve them all, but
Oh, well, yeah, I meant like just space to accommodate all the cards.
oh, the
Where do you keep sleeves?
there's a box down there by my shipping stuff. All right. We will do the sleeve test here in a bit, but it was designed to fit sleeve cards.
Yeah, as far as holding all the cards sleeved, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
That might not be possible. So we'll bust open one of these decks here.
Now these are, I'm not sure the size of these, but yeah, this is, do you know what type of sleeves you have?
Standard. I don't know.
Do you know what brand it is?
I
Because that
forget.
matters. Here, I'll do that if you want to keep moving along.
All right, we got the Alter dice and the Hero dice. Now, when we open the stretch goals, you'll see we have the stretch goal version of these that are the colored symbols. So each side of the Alter die has a different color to go with the rune on it, and these have a nice stone, dark gray stone texture. Look really nice. The etchings look perfect.
I'm going to keep these over here.
And the Hero dice, translucent teal.
So these are These are the biggest sleeves you probably ever use. I think these are the FFG sleeves. Those can fit, but they're not ideal because they're you have a little bit of give at the top. But if you use like Dragon Shields or like cards that or sleeves that have a tight fit with the cards, you'll cut off this whole top, so it should fit fine. But we'll have to do a test for how many sleeved cards will fit.
Yeah, I don't sleeve my cards, so I'd have to do that specifically to do as a test. And these are the base rings that come, so you can mark your minions. Do a little test of these things. When they slide right on. That's nice.
There's some cards.
Yeah, those fit nice. We had an issue with the Street Masters ones where some of our bases were different sizes for the Street Masters miniatures, and the base rings are really tight, but these fit right on there. That's good. Card texture feels good.
Someone asked the size of cards, standard playing card, like
Yeah, I mean,
collectible. I think it's
LCG
the
size, whatever they
LCG
call it.
size, whatever the normal is.
3.5 by 2.5, I think it is. Oh. And then we have dividers for all the different card types. So when you open up all your cards, you can organize them by type and easily find the decks you're looking for. We'll open all those up in a bit here.
And there's a miniature here. Someone was asking about the base rings. These are the flexible ones. So here's an example. Just fitting it on a Frox here. So they grip pretty well. They are a little more on the rubbery side, so they fit on pretty easily.
And as far as the colors, the plastic colors go, we had people asking about difference between the features and the minions. There's two different grays. I'm not sure about the lighting here that shows them off, but the features are a lighter gray. The enemies are a darker gray, so you don't need to tell them apart, but you can.
Someone asked about mass production. Is it in progress? It's actually wrapping up. This should all be palletized this week.
Yes, these are the first copies off the line, and while these were in shipment, they were printing everything else. So
we're getting close. Yeah, real close.
Looks like all those are there. 5 copies of each.
Yeah, these are going to be. I think these are rubbery enough for anybody who prefers the rubbery kind because they fit on release. So they just slide on. They grip well enough too, so they don't fall off.
So yeah, looks like the base game has
With the stuff.
2 miniature trays, the card tray which fits all the cards, and it can also fit your dice and your base rings and.
And again, this card insert has a little groove here. So if you want to put the rings back in there. When you put the board on there, it'll hold above the cards and dividers, so it won't crush them.
And we had some people, I think people that might not have looked into the game as much during the Kickstarter, were asking about the Runes of Arkenspire adding campaign mode. Just so everybody knows, there's 3 ways to play Altar Quest. There's just the regular game mode, which you're playing an individual quest. You can play campaign mode, or you can play story mode. Campaign mode is kind of like make your own campaign, where you just play whatever quests you want in whatever order you want, just to kind of make your own campaign. And story mode is actually like a scripted narrative where you follow the story guide. So for example, the base game comes with Out of Luxon, and when you play that, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure style narrative book where you play through it and you play the quest as dictated in the story guide. And of course, in between quests, you can upgrade your character and get new equipment, things like that.
So we have a couple questions here. If you, someone asked if you base the minis, will they fit in the back trays? There might be some instances where there'll be a tight squeeze, but the actual, you can test it or?
Yeah.
Okay, he'll test it real quick so you can see.
That's a good question.
And then, did the bases bend when putting on the base rings? No, because the bases are much sturdier than the base rings. The base rings are kind of rubbery.
Very flexible.
Yeah, so they're meant to just kind of like to grip on. They're really flexible. So, ETA on timing for people who got Altar Quest. So timing wise, like we said before, this is actually the first one off the line. So they're palletizing. The factory's palletizing stuff right now this week. So it should be hitting the seas pretty soon. We'll have more updated information on actual scheduling when that happens. But that's like the tail end of mass production. So.
Yeah, it depends on the type of miniature. Some of them are tighter squeezes than others, but the base rings are flexible, so you can push them in if you want. Some of them might be a tighter squeeze than others, but yeah, it is possible.
There's space and bags for the counters. So actually, when you get rid of the punch board on top, it depends on how you store your tokens. But if you bag up your tokens, they should fit on top of the rules there on top.
Yeah, you're getting rid of this much punch board space, and
there's already a little bit of space on top too.
Yeah,
so.
the box is big. It made it bigger, so like there is some room on top of everything.
And you can fit plenty of bags underneath these vac trays because the minis they have some contours on the bottom of the vac trays to hold the minis, but there's empty space underneath there, so you can easily bag up your minis there as well.
There's that.
And also, if you're like me, you can take one of your spare boxes and use that as like a gaming insert and kind of create your own foam core.
I think
I would make my own
stretch
token
goals are
inserts.
probably the next thing we should look at.
We have a full video. Now that we have this set up, we plan on doing like playthroughs of the game too. So I'm actually looking forward to trying this. It's been a while since we actually played the game because we've been on the development or the production for so long now.
That's a big box. There's your stretch goal box right there.
Yeah, we'll try to schedule the gameplays once we get things wrapped up here.
Yeah, I got that overhead set up just so we could actually play games with people, be able to watch it a little easier. That's a big box.
Yeah, this is.
All right, we did include a little. There's not like a lot of rules added for the stretch goals, but we had a sheet just so you could kind of see all the content that would be in there. And there are a couple rules like Vraka. He's a little elemental pet of one of the Billy the Kindler, the villain. And there's also a little note about rival and ally figures. So there's that.
Yes, we do have another Kickstarter this series. We have a Kickstarter in the fall planned right now, so we'll have more information on that pretty soon.
All right, here is the stretch goal board, which is there's also a neoprene version of this, but this is basically an alternate board where you can play any quest deck you can use.
And this is the one that's themed toward Ark Inspire.
Yeah, so we went with this one is more cohesive. The other one is a little more colorful. This one looks like it's all one environment, like a crypt style.
It's supposed to match the campaign expansion, Runes of Ark Inspire. So it's kind of.
But it's a different room layout. Like it's different format, but it still has the same number of rooms, the same distribution of doors, and everything like that. So you can play any quest on either board. And again, do a little overhead view so you can see what this box looks like when you open it. Got a huge card well there, so you can fit extra cards. This is a whole other removable card tray. So
the minis Kickstarter will most likely have packaging similar because we're going to use the same factory for production and everything. So expect something similar. This is not a green screen actually. This is our banner from conventions like Gen Con and stuff. We use that for our booth.
Those features are nice and chunky.
Does the campaign sprawls Ark Inspire? So the campaigns they narratively they do link to each other. It's supposed to tell a cohesive story for the setting, but they're not. You don't carry stuff over. You're more starting off like a new adventure with whatever happened in the previous campaign has happened in the world. So it is some continuity there, but it's not so you're supposed to play them back to back gameplay wise.
Everybody's favorite horseman hero. And this is
a lot of questions. Jeez.
This is my favorite feature. The cage, the lid comes off. Can take a. I don't have a minion. Minions are down there, but I'll lock up this outlaw here.
I forget. Are we going to sell these online on our store if we have any?
The leftovers, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have some remaining hopefully to sell. We'll see what we have left.
That's the plan. Feature.
Someone asked about the fall Kickstarter. If you.
Right.
We'll give more details. We'll get more into that very soon. If you like minis and you like our games, then you'll want to save some money.
Yeah, these look great. These features came out nice and sturdy and chunky. No warped bases.
Again, another question about the next Kickstarter. We'll be announcing it soon. I guess probably next month, but I don't want to put a time frame on it because it all depends on how things go with the delivery and everything.
Vraka, the translucent orange fire elemental.
Someone asks, why is there a brownish mini? I don't know what they're talking about.
Probably talking about this guy right here. Maybe.
Oh, that one.
Maybe.
He, I guess maybe in the tray, probably can't look brown.
He's translucent orange. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but he looks really good.
Compared to Street Masters miniatures, is the quality better? Yes. Every time we do miniatures, they just keep getting better. So.
These are noticeably better than Street Masters. I haven't seen any like concerning things yet for these miniatures. We also made sure the bases. People were concerned about the bases overlapping the squares in the board, and I'll see if I can make it clear. But these bases stay within those circles. The favor the prisoner miniature.
Are the minis supposed to be different colors? Yes, we had minis different colors.
The heroes are these light blue color, heroes and allies, so you can tell them apart quickly. The enemies are a cool gray, like a pretty much standard gray, what we use in our Street Masters miniatures and all that. And the features are a lighter gray. They are...
Did you already imprison somebody?
Yeah.
So Michael asks if we're nervous about shipping. No reason.
No. We're using quarter.
Yeah, we have confidence that we'll be on track for this one. Page.
These trays are very, very sturdy too.
Someone asked about the expansion, how it plays. So the expansion actually adds some more features because it adds a campaign, but it also adds a new way to play. It adds encounters, which we'll show off here in a minute when we open the box. Encounters are a very exciting addition to the game because if you want to play a quicker game, not have a big board set up and not the whole dungeon, you can just play a quick combat encounter, which are pretty cool. It's more like Street Masters essentially.
I think Isaac will be pleased about how his werewolf hero turned out. This guy looks really cool. You can even see his little medallion on his necklace, his chest. I think the thing I'm like excited about the most is this cauldron feature. I love this cauldron. I had my wife paint a sample of it earlier, and it came out awesome. Like, looks really cool.
Someone asked if we have final card count for everything.
They're in the rule book. Yeah.
Yeah,
we can give you the numbers. Like, for example, the back of the box will tell you how many cards are in the base.
Yeah,
game.
if you want to hear them, they're going to be online. If you go to the Kickstarter page, you'll be able to see them.
There's 446 cards in the base game.
Yeah, the base game's got 446. The stretch goals has 417. The
Ark-Inspire has 142,
and then
the first four has 142 as well.
So there you go. There's some math for you.
But we can add those up later.
Can you overlay or side by side two boards in the overhead camera? Side by side will be tricky for the two boards,
we do
but
have like
yeah, the neoprenes are here.
So we can. It's not going to fit side by side, but you can look at the.
Yeah, I mean you can tell they're different room layouts, and
so we can do like a half and half type thing.
Yeah, but I think these images are also available on the Kickstarter page, right?
I'm not sure if like the full image is.
Okay.
I think we did put the full image in an update. I just don't remember which one it is.
But yeah, you can tell this one's like this is all Ark-Inspire themed, and this one's more open to whatever
general use. Yeah. You can have like the slimy room. You have the slimy rooms up there, the crystal room. Just a nice little mix. Kind of like how old school Hero Quest board was. Just a nice mix of rooms.
Street Master stuff. Once that's done, once Street Masters is finalized with shipping and everything, we'll have our web store will be selling remaining stock.
There's another tray of minions.
And the minis do lock into place. They fit pretty snugly in those vac trays.
Wow, the vac tray actually sits on top of a big tray of miniatures at the bottom. So there's more minions there.
There's not an experience mechanic in the game, but there is upgrades. You do get upgraded hero cards, but it's more through just playing the game. You don't have to track XP or how well you did. It's just everyone, advances as they play.
And there's the card tray and I'll compare this. I think it's the same as the base game one. So you get two of those.
So Isaac's expansion, the Lunar Inn, includes a werewolf hero. And then what's the faction? The enemies? The Lunaran enemies.
Yeah, the werewolf.
Yeah. So those just add more modularity to the game. You can just swap those into your games. The werewolf hero is really cool though. How he flips back and forth between being a werewolf.
Another cool thing about the stretch goal box are the trap miniatures. So you can replace. You usually use a token to mark traps, but the stretch goals unlock like sculpts for the different factions for the traps. So every faction has their own little miniature. And might have to I'm making a note to the factory. They included hero colors for the mercenary. I guess that makes sense though. She's a mercenary.
Thematic. Yeah, she's a mercenary.
But yeah, those should be gray.
So we have a question here. The logic, the order of the shipping. That's all determined by quartermaster. However they organize theirs. It's always different for every campaign. So it's not always necessarily who backed first or whatever. It's just a matter of how it's organized, and it could be done in reverse, where they stack things up and then send them off from top to bottom. So it's all up to how quartermaster handles that. How many heroes can you choose from in the base game, and then another 4 in the legendary box? I don't have it in my mind. So yeah, there's 4 in the base game, 4 in the.
There's 5.
Sorry, 5 in the base game. Yeah, sorry, 5 in the base game. There's
5 in the stretch goals.
Oh, 5 in the
There's
stretch goals.
4 in
You
the
were pointing.
heroes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. 4 in the base game, 5 in the stretch goals. I thought you were pointing to the rule book. And
4
then
more in the first 4.
Yeah, in the first 4.
And then there's none that we know of in the.
Yeah, there's none others.
Expired.
Was the first 4 included in the Kickstarter? Yes, it was an add-on, I believe.
And these are the colored dice, the altar dice. They turned out really cool. It's like
these are the same size, right? Someone asking for a comparison between cardboard and neoprene, but
yeah, they're the same size. Yeah, I mean, there's a little black edging on the mat. It's
it's a little bigger,
like a quarter inch or something. And then the other thing that's included in the stretch goal box, aside from, what is it, 417 cards, there are the dividers for all the different kinds of decks.
Okay, so we have a request here for when we play through with other heroes, not the base game heroes.
That's fine.
So I have dibs on the Willow Banks.
Yep, these dividers came out real nice too.
Play a short partial scenario. We'd have to organize everything to do that today.
Also, read the rules. I haven't played this game in months.
Yeah, we got to catch up. We've been designing. I think we designed 3 games since this one, so it's been a while.
We also included 4 more base rings, and these are for the traps. So when you're using a trap faction, traps for a faction, you just ring these up just to denote which color trap you have active. We'll have to go through these cards very carefully later today, though, just to make sure everything's there and accounted for where it's supposed to be.
Someone asked, "Can I play 2 games simultaneously with the extra board?" Please don't.
I was gonna say,
That's gonna be a thing.
you can if you want to be. I think our
It's
boss
such-
asked us that too.
Yeah, it can be such a table hog because this board, we made it, it was like we were pushing the limits of what we wanted size wise.
yeah, it's
so I wouldn't suggest doing 2 of them. If you want, go for it. I mean, you can make it work, but it's just a lot of space.
All right, so let's put these stretch goals.
And dividers, same card stock as the standard cards. I think dividers are the same card stock,
It
right?
felt very similar.
Yeah.
Here's the.
I think it's the. Oh yeah, here's the.
Oh, it's heavy. That's a big box. And now we will check out we got 2 more. Right? These are the first 4 Ruins of Arkenspire expansions. I'm just relying on you to keep up with comments because I have no idea.
Well, I'm just answering questions as they come up.
So the first 4
Shipping
comes
has not started yet.
in a little tuck box.
Someone asked again, dividers. It's very similar. I think it's a little heavier than the cards themselves.
I'll crack this
but-
one open and
Yeah,
compare.
but we'll find out here.
So this one has a couple sheets of punchboard. The heroes in this, 3 of them I believe, use tokens. So there's
Karen
song
has traps.
tokens. There's the
Yeah, these are for Gavin. These are for Willow, and these are for Karen.
yeah, and the what's the
Namor.
Namor? What's his name?
Is it Namor?
Aveth.
Namor. Yeah.
He doesn't use tokens.
Here, let me see see these dividers.
And there's a little rule sheet. It's got mostly story on it.
Oh, these feel much heavy. These are a little. These are slicker, like glossier than the cards. They're a little heavier too than the cards themselves. So they're pretty nice.
So this one comes with 4 miniatures and lots of cards.
I'm kind of impressed by how nice these feel. Feel it. Feel pretty slick.
Yeah, I'll compare that.
They look
with,
really nice too. Good job, Justin. These look really good.
Yeah, the hero
You don't
dividers
need to say it,
have
yeah.
a piece of the character art. I don't need that. And behind them is like faded collage of different hero cards because every hero has their own deck of cards with unique art. And
The expansion does not have dice. There was add-on dice, but yeah, the expansion doesn't.
which
have
expansion?
The Ruins of Arkansas. I think he's talking about the Ruins of Arkansas.
Yeah, yeah, it feels like the dividers are slightly thicker material than the cards are.
What's the box size compared to games already released? So I think this might be close. I think this is pretty close to Death May Die. Maybe it's a little. I think it might not be as wide as Death May Die by Simon or Command, whatever they call themselves now. But I think it's the depth wise is probably pretty similar. I think the stretch goal box is even deeper than that. Stretch goal is almost as deep as those newer FFG games. Like like what was the Journey's Middle Earth? That's a pretty deep one.
I mean, I actually I don't have that upstairs, but I used to. And this is back in there.
Please don't tap the table. Try not to.
Oh, sorry. This table is extremely thin, and it's a very cheap wargaming folding table, but it's like big enough to hold this game. But we're gonna have to invest in a new table down here, I think. Not a normal gaming table down here. So then we're going to go off to the Ruins of Arkenspire. So this is a big expansion that has a whole new story in it, and it also introduces a new way to play the game with encounters.
So I don't think we'll add extra levels and expansions, but you'll see here with encounters we have a lot of flexibility with design space by doing other things. Like other ways to play the game, so there could be ways where you actually have a more exploratory dungeon crawling experience, but I don't think we want to add another board level in the middle of the game because it's pretty big as it is.
Wow, there are so many spoilers in here.
Yeah,
this is the Ruins of Arkenspire story guide. Now you'll have to be careful with the names because the look is the same. We have this map art, and it's the same as the story guide from the base game. The name's different, so just make sure you have the right storybook if you're playing.
It also has the logo of the expansion on it. Yeah. So,
and there's that, and then we have the Ruins of Arkenspire rules. This sheet doesn't have a ton of new rules, but it does have rules for how to play encounters. So that's
on the back here.
Well, it's right there.
That's the setup, yeah.
And it's the whole thing's basically encounters, introduction encounters, and there's a little mention of secret boxes. I don't know what that means.
They're secret, man.
But the game also comes with these encounter tiles. There's 2 of them, and they're double-sided, so there's 4 encounters in the game. Any of you that are familiar with Street Masters, another game we did, will understand how these function. They're very similar. It's this is the whole game. You put the tile out, you get the deck associated with that tile, and you play it. It's just a new way to play the game using the same components from the base game.
You mentioned Death May Die. What other dungeon crawlers do you like aside from yours? I think Death May Die might be my favorite personally. I love that game. It's one of my favorite games, period. It's amazing.
I grew up with dungeon crawlers, so I always loved the concept of them, but I always like parts and bits and pieces of lots of them, but it's always hard for me to find one that I really like all together. So that's hard to say.
I would also consider V Commando as a dungeon crawler. It's like a dudes in a grid type.
I think out of pure nostalgia, I'll just say the old original Warhammer Quest, but I know it's not because of the game design. It's just because it's just nostalgic. So
yeah, but Death May Die is amazing.
So this is what the inside of the Ruins of Arkenspire looks like, and you'll see there are slots here for 2 secret boxes, and they say.
I forgot those.
Yeah.
So. Sorry to go off track for a second, but is there a chance you'll make expansions for Heroes of Terranoth? No, because
probably not.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's not up to us really.
Yeah, it's FFG's.
It's an FFG game, but we've expressed interest in getting that game ourselves and doing something else with it. So we're working on something maybe to do with that. We'll definitely talk about it in the future.
So this also came up earlier in the stream. Somebody asked if the stories are continuations, if you have to play the base game before Arkenspire. You don't have to, but there's an ongoing narrative where you'll kind of learn more about the backstory of the world from the base game, but they are independent, so you could just play either one you wanted, but they're not meant to be played consecutively where you play the same heroes leveled up. You play through a campaign and it's like, all right, you're done, and then you start a new campaign. You can play the same hero starting over or play a new hero and having a different story, but they are meant to kind of keep an ongoing narrative in the world. So how do you get access to their expansions? The campaign seems to show campaign seems to show only my pledge for the base box and Call of the Lunaran. So that's actually in the stretch goals. The other expansion, Ruins of Arkenspire, and these will be available on the web store, assuming we have.
They're also available for a couple more days on the Fantasy Series 1 on GameFound. If you want a late pledge for it, you can. I think it's July 22nd is the last day to late pledge. You can get pretty much everything's shown here except for the neoprene mats. Those aren't going to be available. But,
Yeah, someone's asking about that. I just had to show it. That is. Oh, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but yeah, that's the. There'll be news about that coming up soon. But yeah, it's coming soon.
get a better shot.
Pretty excited about that. And then
We have these right here. You'll see these say box 1, box 2, and it says underneath there, it says do not open until instructed. So you will have to play the Ruins of Arkenspire story to experience that. This expansion also includes 2 new features, a villain, a new threat deck, which includes these cool ghosts, translucent blue miniatures. And then it has all the dividers for the different card types, and the decks for the villain, the story deck, there's also encounter turn reference cards, the threat deck, and encounter decks, like how, what you use to play the encounters.
Contra is not a Kickstarter. Contra is going to be straight to retail. It's just been going through approval processes and stuff with Konami. So we'll have more concrete information about that soon. But yeah, it is coming. It's a cooperative 1 to 4 player game. It's really cool. Really excited about it. Do you want that in there?
Oh yeah. So that was the Ruins of Arkenspire expansion. So we cracked open.
Yeah, everyone's saying this looks like 480p upscale to 720p. Everyone says it looks like it's blurrier.
I'll have to check the settings because I got these I had the company buy me these new webcams just last week or so, just get ready for their live stream. I haven't time to mess with them yet, and I'm also using a new streaming software, so it might have some settings I'm not aware of, but I figured these things stream up to 1080p, so I'm not really sure why it's throttling back, but I will check that. And it can't be my internet connection because my internet's great as far as I've experienced.
Yeah, on the Skype they're saying it's kind of blurry too. Justin was saying it's pretty blurry.
Maybe it's bad lighting too. I don't know.
It's weird because I'm watching it. I mean, it looks a little fuzzy. I don't know. I've seen worse, obviously, but
we will definitely look into it because we'll make sure when we do the gameplay video that it looks a little better, and we'll try to get a better table too.
Someone's asking to see the hero from the expansion. I don't know what they mean. I don't know what that means. It's weird.
Maybe information on that.
There's a lot of confusion in the comments too. Just to clarify real quick, Contra is an upcoming game that we're releasing. It's been in the works for a while now, but it's been going through a lot of licensing approvals and everything. So we're getting really close. The game's been done. Most of the pre-production is ready to go. So yeah, expect some more news soon. But it's an MDS game, modular deck system game, fully cooperative. You play as the iconic commandos from Contra fighting the Red Falcon enemies. So it's pretty cool. Let's see.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, someone said if you're in playthroughs, just make sure you check the qualities ahead of time.
Does this make it too bright?
Let's see. It's lagged on my end. So I do see how it's a little blurry, like a little.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out our live stream setup. So this is
the hero from the expansion is the elf.
So the Lunaran expansion.
No. So the hero from the expansion is the elf guy who's a werewolf from the Arkenspire expansion. That's from the stretch goal expansion.
Yes,
the werewolf. Lacen Pines is the werewolf.
Yeah. The Call of Lunaran is that little mini expansion was part of the stretch goals, so that's basically all in the stretch goal box.
Mold lines in the minis, no. I didn't see any. Someone asked mold lines in the minis. I didn't see any.
I mean, there's probably. I mean, I have to go look through all of them. I'm sure there's gonna be. There's always mold lines.
We haven't gone through meticulously ourselves and gone through all the components, which we need to do, and we're gonna have to take this all apart and set it up to do a playthrough anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, as a miniature guy myself, I hardly ever get miniatures that don't have mold lines of some kind. But looking at this guy here, I do not see major ones.
Someone said, "Are you not opening up the cards?" We could open up some cards. I mean, we could open up some of these cards.
This card's open.
Yeah, we opened up some to test them earlier. So, have you guys thought of live stream a playthrough of the base game? We will be playing through. We'll be doing some content from the expansions as well, because someone requested not base game heroes because they've seen those already. So, the person under that's Kat. The person under kimono. That's from the Brook City or the Buddy Cop card game that's on hiatus right now. So
yes, well, it's not going to be a big secret once you get your game because there's an ad for it
on that side.
right here.
So there's a chance that might be. This was a small card game. One of our developer Mitch Schroeder designed, and it is set in the Brook City universe. It's a very quick playing, like a 1 to 2 player game, but it can expand to 4 players with expansions in the future. It's a really cool little game, and we're hoping to be able to put it out soon. So, but there's a chance it might change themes. We're not sure internally yet, but it's close to being done. We just that ad was made earlier in the development process, so it could change. But it is a really cool game, so we'll have more information on that when it comes up. Hope you can show off how different decks are. Yeah, we'll do a playthrough and we'll feature some. I'm gonna play through with Willow Banks, who has her Melody token mechanic, so see that in action. What's the benefit of the first 4 hero pack? 4 new heroes. Awesome.
That's one. It's one thing that people just want to ask for a lot during the Kickstarter.
And you get to read this really cool backstory about the first 4, and it's hard to see from that far away, but some cool lore.
Will the dividers or cards in the Arcspire box spoil? No, we made sure to keep anything spoiler related in the box themselves. So, thought ahead there. These cards turned out really good.
How many games are each campaign? Was it 10 games or 10 quests? I forget.
For what?
For a campaign, was it 6? 6 quests. But then the Arcspire one adds encounters into that as well, so you'll have more than just 6 games. But
no, they won't.
Huh?
It's still 6.
Oh yeah, because never mind. Yeah,
the encounters replace quests in some cases, but you can do the campaigns are designed to progress through 6 games essentially.
So someone asked, will Contra be ready for next year? We're hoping to do. We're hoping it'll be
soon.
Released.
Soon. It's that one is really at the mercy of licensors, so we need to make sure everything gets approved before we can announce it. We can't really say much that's not approved yet.
And we'll probably be doing like a pre-order for that as opposed to a Kickstarter. So if someone asks where to buy it, we'll have announcements, but it's probably going to be through directly through us.
We will plaster that all over the place when that's available because we are excited about it.
Glad you like my shirt. I like it too. When are you going to be in a position to say when you're going to ship? So we said earlier, this came off the line, so everything's being palletized this week. So we know shipping's going to be very, very soon. It's just we don't want to say,
I'm waiting for confirmation, but from my boss. But I'm pretty sure that the games are all palletized, ready to go. But I'm going to wait for confirmation, and we always post an update when we have concrete information. So,
someone asked, will a fall Kickstarter have a similar price point? No, it'll be more tiered out. So it'll have a lower entry point if you want. But there'll be a big deluxe package if you want to get everything, and it's more in line with a normal miniatures Kickstarter. But we'll have more information on that as well fairly soon.
Yeah, we can't say a ton about it yet, but we can say that it's going to play off of our Fantasy Series 1 Kickstarter kind of paved the way for how we want to do Kickstarters in the future, and so this one in the fall will be the first trial in that format. So. We're very excited about it. It's new, and it's also going to be our first game that Bray and I didn't design ourselves. It's an external design that we're going to help with development on it. So it's very exciting, and also it's our first game that's not strictly co-op. It's going to have competitive as well. So,
did you or no? Someone said, will you ship Contra just to the U.S.? Details of that will be coming, but I'm pretty sure it's, I'm not I can't say for sure with licensing stuff.
We'll just say watch for news.
Yeah, just pretty sure it's global release. Did you do story upgrade decks for the heroes? The heroes have upgrade cards, but the stories are the campaigns. So
yes, heroes don't have their individual story decks like Street Masters did. We learned our lesson with that.
Yeah, well, there's two main things with the Street Master stories. There's a huge price component to it.
Stop hitting the board.
Oh, sorry. There's a big price component to having individual hero story decks. It's also, even though it adds some flexibility, it adds constraints to make cohesive stories, and I'd rather make cohesive stories as opposed to a lot of disjointed stories. So there's pros and cons. So I wanted to keep that just for Street Masters and do something different for this one. So. What are the next hit stretch goals?
I'm out of place on the questions. So
oh yeah, the box size, yeah, similar to this is probably more similar to Death May Die. The stretch goals is probably more similar to like a FFG big box game like Imperial Assault or Journeys Middle Earth. Any plan? Oh, so I don't know if we'll do boat tracking. I'm not. That always depends on what information we're given. So we can request it, but it all depends on what.
I'm pretty sure Quartermaster does a good job keeping people updated
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
once the product leaves the factory, it's all Quartermaster. Like we are basically, as we try to explain in other Kickstarters, that we're basically hands off because you hire a film company, they take over. We have no, control over inventory after that at that point. So, but Quartermaster has a good reputation of tweeting out statuses for their shipments and just keeping backers up to date about where things are. So hopefully you can watch Quartermaster for updates very soon.
Yeah. Would you say the campaign give you some hard decision making? So the campaign mode will have a lot of choices where it's kind of like choose your own
Well,
adventure.
story mode.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Because campaign mode is make your
Right,
own.
there you go. Story mode's the one where you play through a story, so you'll have choices to make that have results and consequences. They're more there to provide charm, like make the world charming, a living, breathing place, as opposed to making it like punishing or anything like that. So it's more just to make it feel interactive. We expect an Alter Quest Season 2 next year, so that all depends on how well this is received. If
people like this game,
yeah, we'll make as much as people want. So it always depends on if it hits really well and got good reviews, then we'll be more than happy to make some. But if it's kind of just shuffled under the rug for a lot of people, then we'll make a different game and see how that goes.
we have plenty ideas cooking. So.
Yeah. How likely are language versions? That's again dependent on how well it's received, because how much we can invest into it and everything. So
yeah, people might have seen there was a Chinese Kickstarter for Street Masters because there was a Chinese studio that wanted to translate it, so they took that on as their project and they translated the game into Chinese and did a fundraiser that was successful. So it's really dependent on us finding the right partners to do those, because we can't translate it ourselves, obviously. So we gotta look for localization partners to do that.
So any news on Freedom 5? So yeah, that's launching in September. I don't know the exact date. They just said it's September, so we're pretty stoked about that one. That was fun working with Richard. Big fan of that franchise and everything. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Is there any separate tray for lurkers? No, the lurkers are just one extra miniature sculpt of those minions. So they're all the trays. The trays are really there to keep the miniatures safe for transport. That's the main function.
And they're stored by type, so they're grouped together by their types. So. Replayability out of the campaign, can you comment a bit? So campaign's fully modular. If you're talking about story mode, if you play through the story, you'll know certain paths. If you make the same choices, there's always 2 or 3 divergent paths that you'll take. So the campaign really comes out through just the modularity, what hero you're playing as. It's not meant to be like a spoiler ridden story where like you'll know the secrets of it. It's meant, like I said before, just supposed to be a charming way to play the game, just add some flavor to the quests as you play them consecutively. But it's meant to be a modular system so you can enjoy just trying different combinations out and everything. That's where the replayability comes. It's a game where you hired the extra writer. Yeah, we did hire Brian C.P. Steele, helped write the story. So a lot of the story was based on the lore Bible Adam and I were building, based for the setting, just kind of building the setting out. So Brian, who's a big RPG writer, he's in a lot of RPG projects. He works on miniatures games, but he came in to write the story just based on that lore Bible we gave him. Did a great job. So that was fun.
There's a dual question here that's kind of combined. Someone asked how the development was going for Lasting Tales and if people can use the Alter Quest minis for that game. So Lasting Tales is kind of early in development. We have lots of ideas for it, and it is going to be designed to use any fantasy miniatures. But if you have miniatures that you use for like D&D and stuff like that, you'll be all set. If you backed our Fantasy Series 1, you're going to be all set. That's kind of what you're going to be needing for that kind of game. So.
Any update on the Street Masters app coming to the PC? I forget where that stands. It's dependent.
It's definitely in, Steam is in the plan. We want to try to do Steam. Also, hopefully Switch someday. But Steam is definitely in the development plan. We haven't.
Yeah, from my understanding, Switch is actually easier to get on the Steam. I think because it's like a shorter process.
I don't know. It's all new to us for doing this. Blacklist Digital is a whole new division in the company, so. It might be a little slow, but that Street Masters app is our first step into that arena.
What are the plans for direct sale of games in Europe? I'm looking like crazy for Street Masters. I'm not positive on the stock, the status of the stock currently as we finish up the last phase of the fulfillment for Aftershock. I'm not sure where our stock is. It's not out of the question to do another like kind of pre-order system where we just take a smaller pre-order, maybe not a full campaign like a Kickstarter, but do a reprint, depending on the demand and everything.
Yeah, the problem with Street Masters right now is all of our inventory is tied up in making sure everybody in the Aftershock Kickstarter gets what they pledged for. So we can't really do anything with any inventory at all until that's done, and it's going on for longer than any of us ever imagined it would possibly go. But we see a light at the end of the tunnel, and when that happens, we can reassess the future of that game line and hopefully do something, make it more widely available for people.
So someone asked how text heavy is the story mode. I wouldn't say it's that text heavy. You're not. I mean, there's a lot of people who are.
It's always between quests. Like
Yeah.
You're reading things between quests, kind of like setting the stage for the next quest.
Some people are fans of like the Arkham Horror LCG approach, where it's just like almost just a novella of stuff you're reading through. But I prefer to play the game. Like I love to read. I read a lot of novels. I love reading big, huge, thick novels, but I don't like to do that while I'm playing a game. So we try to keep it so it's more just here's some flavor, make a choice and then play the game and focus on the gameplay. So I wouldn't say text heavy, but there is some text there to set the scene and everything. So we had a question as well about any other dungeon crawlers you'd recommend. I think we talked earlier. I'd totally recommend Death May Die. I love that. It's probably my favorite dungeon crawler right now. I don't know. You have any others that whenever GW makes their old world revamp of Warhammer Quest,
that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I have like kind of particular tastes, and I like my dungeon crawlers kind of old school, pretty simple hack and slash stuff. I don't really need innovation in my dungeon crawls. We're kind of experimenting with this one. I'm not going to say that this is my favorite, but I do enjoy it. Every time I play this one, I enjoy it. So it is. I don't like to call my own any games I work on my favorite anything. But it's always fun. So I would definitely recommend it for people like dungeon crawls.
Yeah, try Street Masters too. I hear that's good.
Street Masters is one.
So we have is skirmish mode possible in the future? There could be, but the game's strength is built on the cooperative solo aspect. So, I mean, we already have.
I would say we have better things. Things lined up for skirmish.
Yeah.
Play,
so I think there's other ways, easier ways to do skirmish. This could be done, but it's one of those things where you just like to play to the strengths as opposed to trying to make everything fit into one box. So, Street Masters anime win. There's some sketches early on. I saw some early sketches somebody did. That's pretty cool. Like
modern miniature series with zombies. Yeah, we would definitely like to do modern miniature someday. Any chance of getting Ultra Quest?
We'll see.
On Steam.
I've
actually been chatting about an Ultra Quest app in the future. So if the game's successful, that's definitely a possibility. I would be interested.
Now that's something.
But if we did it, it would probably be a different game. Like it wouldn't play like the board game. It would be like an Ultra Quest experience app, which would be cool.
It's kind of just make a video game version. I think I wouldn't say it's similar to what Gloomhaven did because Gloomhaven's like its own video game, but we would want to do something a little different and make it unique.
You said earlier that things could still be ordered on GameFound. So when you go on a GameFound, when I say things can still be ordered, it's under Blacklist Miniatures Fantasy Series 1 because that's where we're offering the late pledges. The Ultra Quest one's closed, but you can still get Ultra Quest product in the Blacklist Miniatures Fantasy Series 1 GameFound project.
You missed a question, by the way.
Oh, come on.
So what about simultaneous play in Ultra Quest? That's already implemented in the game. So during the hero turn, you just integrate your turn. You just take your actions however you want. You kind of coordinate them. So it's already kind of in there. So. This character improvement carry from game to game in story mode? Yes. In the story mode, over the course of those 6 quests, yes, your character will get new cards to replace cards in their deck. You might find new equipment. You might find story cards along the way where you might acquire a new ally or something. All that stuff is persistent in that story. But then if you want to play a different story, you would start over. So you missed another question again. You're good at jumping in questions now.
There's so much text for me to sort through that I'm just...
So the next one here is how far down the line do you plan the future of games? Do you have long-term plans or just game to game? What theme are you looking forward to exploring on future games? So most of the time it has to be kind of game. We have a rough idea, like a roadmap, but it changes so much. You can ask David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin about that. They're helping out with the next game, but things change so much during the process. But yeah, so we do have a long-term roadmap. but it depends. We have to react to how certain things play out. And as far as like what theme we want to do, I'm really interested in doing some, like, I guess the easiest way to say is like a Metroidvania style board game adaptation, like the video game genre. I want to do that in a board game, so that's kind of what I want to do. And the theme, I'll save it for later because it's a very specific theme. Talk about it later.
Any chance on getting narration? I would probably lean towards no on that one, just because of
Yeah, that's something where it's like if we do something with an app, that's when like we might have voiceovers depending on how the app plays out.
And that's a matter of if somebody approaches us and asks us about something like that, that's something we might consider, but it's probably not something we'll pursue ourselves.
Yeah, our team is so stretched thin right now that'd be hard to kind of manage another project like that. What are you playing for fun in your spare time? Marvel Champions 24/7.
We're actually also
Play that all
trying
the
out that new that Elder Scrolls
yeah.
Call to Arms miniatures game. I've been painting the miniatures up for that.
Oh.
And trying out the solo mode.
I almost forgot too. The Undaunted North Africa is amazing. I've been playing that with my daughter. It's really good. And playing way too much Call of Duty Warzone.
For about classes, can you show the core box again quickly? Into the stream too late, and I'm interested in organization. So I can show it real quick, but again, after this live stream ends, you can watch the stream on the YouTube channel. It's still up there.
Some classes which you would like to add to the game. I don't know. We had like so much of our. I want to add a cook, like a chef, maybe, but there's already Rowan who does some cooking. So
yeah, one of the things I wish we would have done with Ultra Quest is instead of making unique hero decks, would have made unique class decks, and we would have classes and heroes, and you can mix and match. That would have been pretty cool. Hindsight, obviously. This is what the base game looks like when you open it up. For whoever asked. Underneath this tray, I'll pull it up. There's another tray underneath that.
Let's show them off that. There's another question from Alice Plays. What of your games are you most proud of? Which one was the most difficult to make? I think it's strange because the one I played the most is Street Masters. I think when that came out, like I played that just daily. But I think the one I'm most proud of because of not of how it turned out, but because of the development process was Walking Dead: No Sanctuary. Because that one, I feel like captivated, like the theme was so well conveyed throughout the mechanics during the design process that it's hard to recreate that design, because that was kind of a fumbly design process we had because we were managing our day jobs, we were working in corporate jobs and didn't have a lot of time to spare for development stuff. But that game had some really cool ideas I'd love to revisit, but it's probably one I'm most proud of.
I think aside from this one was kind of like a dream project, but I think the one I'm most proud of would be Warhammer Quest, the adventure card game. Not only because that was our first co-design professionally, which was a huge deal for us, that kind of got us started, but also it was the Warhammer Quest theme, which Warhammer was the reason I got into gaming back in my teenage years, so that was a big deal for me.
So someone else asked, is there a divider to store your upgrades in a campaign, something like Seventh Continent? Yeah, there's like a journal where you put all of your stored cards in during, kind of keeps your place of where you were in the campaign.
Simultaneous play is difficulty adjusted for that? No, because it's part of the game. The difficulty is adjusted per player in the game.
So earlier interviews, you mentioned potential character story quests, possible via PDF downloads. I believe. Well, I mean, there's always potential for that kind of stuff. We don't have any. Oh, sorry, I'm moving the table again. We don't have any currently in the works, but that's something that can easily be implemented down the road, especially if demand is there. And plus, it's something cool too for just fans to put out, because I've seen people put out like their own Street Masters character stories, the story decks. So that's cool community content as well.
I taught Rodney Smith.
What's that?
Someone was asking about my box flipping skills.
My concern
is an empty box lid. So
my concern is what's holding me back still is how much difficulty scaling there is. The playthroughs are fairly samey. Will the other content bring more challenge variety?
Well, the playthroughs were always the same quest. You're playing the basic demo kit quest, so the quests do change it up. The player count changes things up, really.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about like what you mean by samey, because I mean if you're wanting something that's out of the mold of this game, then I mean we're not trying to surprise people with with mechanics and stuff. It's more meant to be kind of a love letter to the stuff we enjoy playing. So if that's what you find samey, I don't know. Like that, to me, it's what it's setting out to do essentially.
Yeah,
so.
I mean the game is you're going into dungeons, fighting monsters, and completing a quest.
Yeah.
I mean that's the core of the game. There are other things you do in it, but it's not gonna like I don't know, blow your mind.
Yeah,
as far as the objectives. So.
The thing we try to do is like you're not just swinging your sword, rolling. You're doing other things. Like quests will have you search for something or
Go rescue a prisoner
escort
or...
somebody. So you're doing different activities, but we wanted to stay true to the you're opening a door and fighting monsters. That's what you want to capture in these kind of games. So it's not setting out to be innovative or anything. If that's what you're asking.
There was something. What's the sweet spot player count? I honestly like. I love playing this game 2-player. It's cool to play it 4-player because it's like a big party game, but 4-player is a bigger endeavor. It's like our other MDS games where the time will gradually increase the more players that are playing. So if you're playing 4-player, it's going to take more time than a 2-player game. But 2-player is a sweet spot where it plays pretty quick and it's still you got some crunch to it and everything like that. And also we grew up playing co-op games and there weren't a lot of like good 2-player co-op games, and so I think that's a lot of why some of our games are sweet spot 2 players because we play them 2-player all the time.
Yeah, because a lot of games will require so much human activity to make the game compelling, but we try to make these games play out compelling enough in just a 2-player environment that if you do add more people, it can add to the time. But we've played plenty of 4-player games of this, and they're just as compelling too. So it's just a matter of how much time you want to spend playing the game.
There dedicates what's that? Sorry. It's not too late to class.
Yeah, I kind of wish that No Sanctuary is based on the comics as well. I prefer that over the TV show. And I wasn't crazy about how the sculpts had to be so realistic because it's the actors' likenesses and they were to scale. I kind of prefer the more embellished heroic scale models.
Well, pledging for the extra lurker decks. Delay your altar quest. No, the lurker decks will be shipping with the Fantasy Series 1 Kickstarter. So the lurker cards from that Kickstarter will not ship with the altar quest stuff. That's a separate shipment. So if people are back, if you're late backing altar quest in that Fantasy Series 1 Kickstarter, your altar quest stuff is shipping separately than the lurker cards. So there are 2 separate shipments.
There was another question about any chance of how to play videos with Rodney. Unfortunately, Rodney's like heavily booked. He's pretty corporate now. So he's he works through BGG, so he has a big slate of publishers who line up 6 to 12 months in advance.
We've definitely tried.
Yeah, I mean he's a buddy of ours, but we understand from a professional sense he just can't slip us in because we're friends. So
Is there any way to amp up the difficulty? Yes, there's easy ways to amp up the difficulty. One of the easiest ways is to just throw in enemy upgrade cards. When you're playing in the story mode or campaign mode, every quest, the enemy will get upgrade cards that kind of gradually increase the difficulty. So you can just throw those in if you want in a one-off game to make the game harder.
And also, whenever you open a door, instead of just drawing enemy cards, everyone draw a lurker card as well. So.
Yeah, throw in a lurker card every turn,
There's a heap of tokens to be punched out or to pack them when they are no longer in the sheets. So one of the, like I said before, in the vac trays, you'll have space underneath those on both levels because the vac trays have enough space for the miniatures to drop down into the. So you can store a bunch of baggies underneath those vac trays. So if you back up your tokens, or if you put them, if you're not sleeving your cards, you'll have space in the card vault to put some bags in there as well. And plus you'll have some space on top because you'll have the punch board gone. So you'll have some space.
And we'll also let you know in more detail when we actually do it ourselves.
Yeah, we'll pop ours, we'll store ours, and we'll show you how we store all the tokens.
How many scenarios, missions, in the storybook? So, like I said, the story guide, the story mode is six quests long because we always prefer campaigns that you finish. We've played so many campaigns in our day where we just play a handful of games and then it just trickles out. Or just fizzles out.
Yeah. So one of the biggest games in the world, Gloomhaven, people seem to love it, but the biggest downside I have with Gloomhaven, I've told Isaac this, is once I play 5 to 10 scenarios, I kind of want it to end. I don't want to retire my character. I just want the story to end, but it just keeps going and going.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
We kind of like to play. We like to have kind of mini campaigns where it's you play over the course of a couple weeks or whatever, and you play through a whole story, and then you're done, and you can start over later with your other friends if you want, or a different group of heroes doing different things. That's kind of how we like to go with. That's how Altar Quest was designed. Was more bite-sized campaigns where you can actually finish them.
Resources online to make custom storylines or scenarios. Yeah, there's people have actually made their own, but we'll see if we can provide a blank template or whatever for people because most of the stories are just going to be in that story guide. So the formats. It's nothing. Visually it's nice. Justin laid out all the graphics and stuff, but you can easily just do another another Word document and have the story. It's like choose your own adventure. You'll see the layout when you get the copy. So
You missed getting the first 4 on during the Kickstarter. You'll have another chance to get it. Right now, you have a chance to get it if you go to GameFound and go to the Blacklist Miniatures Fantasy Series 1 Kickstarter on GameFound. If you go to Blacklist's Facebook page, you'll see a link to it. But you have a couple days left to grab a copy of the first 4 if you want it. If you miss that deadline, I think it's Wednesday, the 22nd is the last day to pledge for it. If you miss that, you'll have to wait till it goes on sale on our web store whenever fulfillment ends.
So we have little token trays fit on the top of the board. You'll have some space. I'm not sure how many tokens you can store in a tray, but like there would be enough space to fit a small tray on top if you had a custom one or something. Will your showcase the Ark-inspired encounter mechanic?
We'll do a playthrough of it. I'm not sure if it's going to be before the.
Well, I mean, it's in 2 days. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be before that pledge manager ends. But if you want to check out some gameplay of Street Masters online, it'll give you a very good idea of how those will play out. You can just kind of imagine the Alter Quest playthroughs with the Street Masters game, mix them together. That's what encounters play.
So we have any chance developing scenarios to further utilize some of the miniatures from the recent Blacklist kit? So that'll depend on if we make future content for this game. We can always incorporate that, but
we are keeping the Fantasy Series 1 and Alter Quest kind of like separate, because they're their own things. They're both fantasy, but they're kind of their own things.
The reason is initially the concept behind the fantasy miniatures line is it's based in the same world, but it's set in a different continent. This Ultra Quest is on the Eastern continent, which is where Eridika is, so it has a very particular flavor to it. It's kind of more specific. The other continent is more just general fantasy, so they coexist, but like. As it is, it kind of creates a branding thing, or like Ultra Quest has a certain visual, like, trademark right now. So if we're going to combine those, it takes some planning, some product planning and everything. That's a little behind the scenes stuff, but right now they're just kind of separate.
Cool. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so we can crack these boxes open and just verify the contents of the cards and make sure there's nothing we need to report back to the factory, any kind of emergency issues or anything like that. We were actually very, very, very pleased. I was kind of nervous opening these up, but they look great. Very excited to get these things to you guys, get them to your table, and watch for the next Ultra Quest update with more information about when you can expect that to happen. I'm thinking we're pretty close, but I'm going to let that update, let you know all the details. But again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your, hanging out with us as we do our favorite part of the job, opening up new games. So never gets old. So thanks again for stopping by, and we will see you very soon for a playthrough video of